Hey gang, I'm Ruth Ann.
I'm Chris.
And we are GeekChic Promotions. We're coming at you actually a week earlier, but we needed to pre-record. So if you guys are in Santa Monica today, come visit me at PrideCon at Heidi Ho Comics. I'll be running a booth for Aftershock. Very exciting.
And Aftershock has amazing titles that are out, you guys. And so, you know, she's going to have all the LGBTQ titles out, and you should check them out because they're all super good.
They're so good. There's one I can't wait for you to read.
Oh, yeah? I can't wait.
They're very good. So, hey guys, so we started a discussion. Obviously, last week there was the news that broke out that J.J. Abrams is supposedly. Oh, wait, I am so sorry. How rude of me. How dare I start talking business before we cheers?
Dare you.
How dare I? Cheers to you. Cheers to you guys. Love you all. Oh, this is lovely. Let's talk about this for a second. So I usually don't like ciders. This is a pear cider from Trajo's. Very fancy. But it's
from this trader I know.
Yeah.
His name is Joe.
I usually don't like ciders. They're way too sweet. This is nice and dry.
It's the Cuvée Spécial. Yeah. Anyway.
So, especial. So we saw the news this last week, well, technically a week and a half ago for you guys, that J.J. Abrams is tied into the next Spider-Man movie. And I do love me some J.J. Abrams. I know that he can be quite the diva and quite the...
Also, I heard that sometimes he's incredibly hands-off, and his name is just slapped on it. And he assigns people
that as well.
to do things,
Yeah.
which to me... is a terrible idea because...
I'm not put my name on anything unless I have some sort of influence.
We're talking about like some of the Cloverfield stuff, which ended up being quite bad.
Not great.
Like,
well,
especially if you saw the ones on Netflix. Did you?
I was never a fan of the first one.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think at that point, his name was on it, but I don't think he was doing any of it.
Yeah.
I think he was overseeing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So
he
that's
was
why...
proofreading some stuff. That's about
I feel like that's kind of diluted his name. You know, because he came out of the gate, like, really hard, and then he had some awesome hits, like Super 8 and stuff, but then, like, his name was just slapped on everything, and then, So, I mean, do we think we're giving this guy too many of the big projects?
Well,
I mean,
and this is the problem. So this is how our main subject matter kind of started. Is we're talking about that, because between him and, like, Zack Snyder, like, obviously I feel that Zack Snyder I feel J.J. Abrams is a better director than Zack Snyder.
As do I.
But... it just reaches this point. It's the same way with these big name actors that we have. It's just like the pool keeps getting smaller and smaller. It's like, well, you just do everything that has to do with superheroes or everything that has to do with like this. And you're like, well, no, like you need other talent and you need other people coming in.
I just think that there's... the reason why it seems like such a small pool is because all the movies are being given to that small pool.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
and also because there's this falsehood of like, oh, people will only go see movies starring this actor or starring this versus
or directed by blah blah blah.
And so these producers don't put their money where their mouths are because they're like, oh no, we're not gonna give money to any old Ghost in the Shell movie. It has to have what's her face as the lead, which had a lot of backlash like socially. But in the movie making world, like that movie would not have been made unless she had been attached to the movie, and that's what's messed up about this kind of system that we've set up with Hollywood. And so we were discussing this, and we're talking about like when movies were the best. And Marcus happened to be reading this book that was all about the year 1999 and all the movies that came out that year.
Best year for
movies. Because I had an inkling of how many amazing movies came out that year. I'm just gonna pull up this book right here.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna read off all of the amazing titles that came out one year, guys. In 1 year.
In 1999.
The Blair Witch Project. That changed everything.
It sure did.
For horror movies.
And I remember. Fun fact, it was filmed in Maryland, and Marcus was working in high school in his little video editing shop where they let him, edit all of his own little short films for free because he was working there. And the Blair Witch guys brought their stuff in, and Marcus was watching them edit the stuff. And when it came out, there was this buzz like, is it real? Is it not real? And Marcus was like, it's not real. Like, I watched them do it.
Legitimately. Okay, for all you younger people that don't remember 1999.
Right. Or weren't born yet.
Oh, God. Anyways, that really upset me. Well, I'll never forget hearing some of the radio commercials for Blair Witch
Right?
Project. I thought it was real for
We
a
all
second.
thought it was real. It was great marketing.
It was really, I mean, I was, the age that I was, so I was a little bit
Guys,
more influential at that point.
It was visionary, if I do say so myself. It was honestly one of the most innovative marketing campaigns.
It was perfect.
Ever, yeah. So kudos to the Blair Witch guys.
Well done.
Yeah.
Following Go and Run Lola Run.
Loved Go, loved Run
Yeah.
Lola Run. Both
Those
of
are all amazing movies.
Run Lola Run was this movie that I watched where literally she's running the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I was just like incredibly astounded by that. I was like, holy crap. And it was
really
great.
She's really running the whole
It was a
time.
great movie, yeah.
Office Space. I knew that was the
Office
late
Space.
90s. Freaking Office Space, one of the most quotable movies of all time.
Yes.
People are
Yep.
getting burned down the building.
So
I wouldn't.
good.
You've been missing a lot of work. I wouldn't say I've
Yeah,
been missing it,
it.
Bob. The Matrix. Now that's one movie I
Obviously.
will always cue in for 1999, and that absolutely changed everything for like martial arts American martial arts movies, or just like fighting in general in movies in America, like in Hollywood. Changed everything.
It did. It changed everything.
And also, it was just an amazing movie. What? Okay, so let's talk about some 90s high school movies.
Yes.
Like, these are the quintessential, like, these were my high school movies.
These are them.
Varsity Blues, She's All That, Cruel Intentions, 10 Things I Hate About You, and American Pie. Guys, we are still talking about 1999.
All the
These
same
are
year.
still coming out.
And
This
it-
is insane.
It doesn't
Oh, I'm
even
sorry.
end there.
No,
you
oh,
guys.
we're
It
still
doesn't
going.
even end.
But I just want to, those movies specifically, like,
Those
All
movies themselves literally shaped children.
yes, shaped
mean,
us.
I got married that year,
Yeah.
so no.
I mean, you were still a child. Let's be frank.
I was an adult, but I was,
yes, she
I
was
young
fully
to be getting married.
She was
yes.
she was legally allowed to get married, but very young to get
I was
married.
very young.
But like, God, 10 Things I Hate About You, because I was a huge Shakespeare nerd. So like that I just love. But then like She's All of That. That was the first time me seeing Seth Green on film.
Oh wow.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
Aww.
See, I watched him on Buffy. Wasn't that before 1999?
It probably was, so
Yeah,
I
it
didn't.
was,
I
yeah.
hadn't. I was late to Buffy.
Gotcha.
I was a late
Okay.
late bloomer
All right.
to Buffy.
All right.
Okay, so now this is just crazy. I had no idea. What? Okay, these are hard to read. There's so many amazing movies that came out. This is still 1999. Election, Rushmore, the Virgin Suicides. Like,
Yes.
I remember Rushmore. That was the first time I had ever been introduced to. Why am I blanking on the director's name?
Oh yeah. I'm blanking.
We all know who it
all
is.
know who he
Sorry,
is.
our phones are all filming right now, so I
Dan
cannot.
watches every single one of his movies.
I do.
Yeah,
I
she
love
does.
his movies.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh my God, that's gonna make me crazy because he has.
I can't think of it.
He has the same. I used to have a thing with everything had to be very symmetrical, and he does when you watch any of his movies, he composites every shot to be very symmetrical. It's most
Really?
noticeable in Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Ah.
But it's amazing. Okay, so those movies, incredible as well. Now, I'm totally gonna blow your mind right now for all of us nerds. Star Wars Episode 1 was that year. It changed some things. Maybe not for the better, but it changed some things. Iron Giant.
Yeah.
The Iron Giant was 1999 and Galaxy Quest. What is happening? We're still not even finished, guys.
Yes.
What happened this year? Why is this?
And we're going by season, by the way, and we've only just hit spring.
Yeah, so summer.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Summer's Eyes Wide Shut and The Mummy. The Mummy.
Which I just watched, by the way, on Netflix 2 nights ago.
That's
It's
not-
amazing.
it's so
you guys,
good.
It holds up.
It's so good.
It's
Oh yeah, I
fantastic.
rewatched it again recently.
Yeah.
That I'll never
It
forget.
holds
Me and my friend Allie Malone went to go see that when I went to my family's camp in Maine, and we saw it in the summer of that year. God, that was 1999. That's crazy.
Right?
I love that movie. I was a little I was concerned of the fact that I was attracted to the Mummy once he was in like full, like
Yeah.
obviously not when he was like
Right.
skeleton
No.
form,
I
but when he
totally
was
get
all
it.
like fleshed out, I was like, oh, hello. Oh, I have a thing for bad guys. I don't know. Oh. Now, okay, what? Okay, wait. I feel like the Blair Witch Project we mentioned earlier. Yeah,
We did.
but on the same sort of like kind of horror vibe, The Sixth Sense was also 1999. That's insanity.
Yes, I See Dead People, guys.
Yeah, I See Dead People. The
All of
Best
that.
Man, The Wood. American Beauty was 1999.
And that changed things.
That
Like,
changed.
That won an Oscar.
That won an Oscar. For me, that was the first, like, I know this sounds really cheesy. That was like the first kind of artistic movie
Right?
that I got.
Where he was like video. Okay, it's like hipster before hipsters were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actually
Oh, yeah, videotaping
filming the bag blown
the bag
around.
and the dead like
Yeah.
crow.
Yeah.
Just like,
Maybe that movie actually created hipsters.
what? You know? Okay, now I want to do I want to do a whole study of what created hipsters.
Right.
There's probably a documentary in the works as we
I
speak
bet
right now.
you.
There has to be.
Done
there
by a
has to be.
hipster.
Done by you mustache wearing mother. Even though I do love hipsters because now the shit that I wear is cool.
I know.
That's my favorite part about it. But other than that,
I know.
like, but it's weird because
But
then
now people
call
think you're a hipster.
But then people call me a hipster. I'm like, I'm not even like, fuck, I'm a hipster. I'm like the original hipsters because I hate hipsters.
The original hipster, which is so just like meta.
I know. I'm
I
just
don't
like
even
I
know.
have so many levels of hipster. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. All right. Oh my god. Freaking Fight Club, guys.
Fight Club.
Fight Club was 1999. That's crazy. Being John Malkovich was 1999.
Mm-hmm.
How?
I don't
How did
know.
all these movies come out? Three Kings, The Limey, The Insider,
That was a good movie.
Boys Don't Cry,
Yeah.
and Magnolia. Guys, this is insane.
Yep.
I don't even... So, all right. Most of these movies I saw that year, if not like the year after.
Sure.
But I mean...
And even if you didn't see them in '99, you eventually saw them.
yeah.
Like, everyone has eventually seen these movies. Like, I don't
The Matrix.
know.
You know the movie that's not mentioned here that I thought came out the same year was Equilibrium. Didn't Equilibrium also come out in 1999?
I don't know. We should Google
Well,
that.
I'm going to Google that right now because I have one extra phone ready and available because I remember that being like the weird thing because it was like two very fighty movies that kind of came out at the same time.
And the important thing that we're trying to get across here
Yes.
is that have we ever had a year like this since?
No.
And that was 20 years ago.
And I did have, once we discovered this, I did have to make a joke because for all of you that were there for 1999 and remember experiencing it, it was a big deal for the New Year's Eve because we legit thought the world was going to end.
Yes.
Y2K was going to destroy all the computers. It was over.
So, like, maybe, like, there was something on the line. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, we gotta make good movies. This is our
Yeah,
last year
maybe.
of being
It's
alive
just like-
before everything crashes.
Or maybe that's what
Who
crashed good.
knows?
We didn't know it at the time, but it actually destroyed good movies.
Yeah, maybe.
The
and
best
also,
movies just ended.
good music, to be fair.
Oh,
because
very, like, that's a whole nother.
that's a whole nother thing that we could get into because I don't really, like, I feel like there's, when you say 80s music, you can go all the way back to, like, the 20s. 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s all have a specific genre of music that dominated. And when I get to, like, to 2000, I'm like, what's the
Spell
music?
Equilibrium for me. I was like, it's not Equalizer. It keeps trying to give me Equalizer. There it is.
There it is.
Oh, wait.
Did I?
Oh, it was 2002.
Yeah, close.
Okay, and close.
Close.
I probably saw them around the same
Yeah,
time. That's probably what
so-
happened.
But yeah, so here's the thing though, is that those movies were so diverse and they were done by like
Completely-
like different people. Like they
Different
were,
people,
they were
different
all original,
studios.
like all of them,
All original, too.
all
That's
originals. None of them remakes.
okay. I'm gonna.
I mean, they're based off of things. Like if you look at like the She's All That, like yeah, they're like oh, it was Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like
Yeah.
there's that sort of thing. But it wasn't like we're experiencing now. I guess is what I'm
No,
trying
and
to
I
say.
and I think that was our last time that things were popular on their own without being a comic book, TV show, or anything else before it.
It was just people making movies that were
Yeah.
good stories and doing it really well.
Really well.
Really well. And it's kind of a shame because they were like groundbreaking and
How did that all happen that year, though?
like the Atrix was groundbreaking and like so was the Blair Witch
the
Project.
Blair
for
Witch
its
Project.
genres.
I mean, like, and
you
for
know?
the type, like, I feel like The Office should also be given a lot of clout for the type of
Definitely.
humor because I feel like that's still the humor 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god, 1999 was 20 years ago.
You know, it's really funny when Marcus and I were talking about this last night. I was like, "Oh, 1999. That's the year I got married." And he was like, "Yeah, big year." and usually, okay, since Marcus is younger than me, usually I'm prepared to be like, "I was blah blah years old," like, and it's usually something that makes me feel really incredibly old. and I was waiting for it and it didn't come. And so I said, aren't you gonna like,
you're not
be
gonna
like, aren't you
dig
gonna be
into
like,
life?
I was 9 years old? And he just looked at me and he goes, am I getting younger? Like, in everything I said. Like, that's what
I was 9 years old.
I was
like,
9 years old.
I
I'm like, he wasn't 9.
how much of a cougar are you, Chris? Jeez.
Right? And it was very funny though, because anyway.
Yeah, like I was born. What?
Like, you think of it like, sometimes I don't know how you do this, but like sometimes when I think of like when you go back and you think of what happened in that year, you don't think of like how old you were. You think of what movies were out, or like, you know, who you were dating, or what your school you were in. Like it just, it's really funny how that relates.
For me it was either who I was dating, what play I was in.
Right? And I always like count back. It's like, you know, whenever I wear like my Def Leppard shirt, I'm like, oh yeah, well I saw them in like 1995, and everyone's like, 95? I was like, maybe 94. And they just like stare at me like I'm insane. And it's like, you guys, they're hair metal. Like they were 80s.
They were 80s,
like,
bro.
When I saw them, they were like almost done. Like they were like burnt. You know?
It's just so crazy to me
it's
how
just
like
funny.
time
Like,
I feel like is passing very differently depending on the technology, right? Because like my favorite like meme that I saw somebody post is that like this kid found a cassette in the river, and they're like, "Is this from the Civil War?"
Oh my god, I don't even. I that makes me feel all sorts of things.
There was this one kid.
Did you see the thing about the cassette though, where he's like his innards are spilled, and they're like, "I'll need a pencil," and like no one gets it who was like, born after that because you had to do that to rewind them back up. Yeah, which is.
Yeah, it was the same thing with the VHS tapes. I was like the queen of like,
right?
And like you open it, you learn how to open up, like you put it back and like do this, and you had to like make it like. I was like the little queen. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
If you were getting too many of those lines on the thing, then you had to like kind of like wipe
down,
it very gently.
Yeah.
We watched movies so aggressively because we didn't get cable TV.
Well, we did that in high school because literally you're not old enough to drink. And it's like, what do? You go over to somebody's house and literally you watch movies. You rent VHS movies. Yeah. And you've seen like the entire freaking video store.
Oh,
like, it's like you just, when you're a teenager, you plow through this. I don't know. Kids are doing video games these days, but
we had to purchase a separate rewinding machine because, you know, you can't return it. I mean, you could, but
but you get fined.
Oh, you get fined. And also,
please be kind and rewind.
Please be kind and rewind. So we actually had a separated little where it was just like, it just fit the tape. You just hit chunk and just hit rewind and rewind the whole thing so that we could start the next movie. Wow. We're like, we ain't got time to use up our VHS.
Like, that's kind of amazing.
Our VCR for like rewinding. Going, we have another film to watch. Like, let's do this. Like, that was our binge watching back in the day, kids.
Well, to bring this back around.
All right, yes.
We're talking about J.J. Abrams and Spider-Man. So
this year of 1999, that I had no idea quite how amazing it was. How in 20 years have we gotten to this point? And
we have like a pool of 5 directors maybe that are directing
maybe 6
everything.
Actors, whether it's male, female, the different age ranges, and that's it. They just keep rehashing and regoing.
I also feel like if it's not, you know, these 5 dudes that are directing everything, they're gonna go for the one female director who's like, or like the 2 that are out there because they're like, oh, diversity. And so like Ava DuVernay is like being put up for like a whole bunch of stuff. But the problem is like they're going for her not because they think she's talented, but because she's a black female. And it's like, okay, but she's talented, you guys, but is she the right fit for this project, or are you just trying to snag a female? And that like concerns me because I don't feel like, being in the industry, hearing things, knowing behind the scenes things, I feel like there are better people suited for that project, even better females. But they're going for the one who's going to snag the name like they are with J.J. Abrams.
They're going with the math equation versus what this is, and not to sound like it's art, but at the end of the day, it's a creative project that you can't do math with. Like, yes, it's all work, and yes, it is all like, you know, there are certain
like, we don't want to get backlash, so we don't want the nerds to get upset. So we're gonna put J.J. Abrams on this because he's done like Star Wars and Star
Yeah,
Trek.
it's where it's like Star Wars,
know?
so he's in Disney, so he's now Marvel, and you're like, I don't know.
So we're just gonna, whatever.
But then, all right, so let's look at that, but let's look at another kind of on the flip side is having Quentin Tarantino direct a rated R Star Trek film.
Oh yeah, that's not happening though.
Oh, did that just end again?
Well, that was a Paramount movie, and Marcus was in all those meetings, and for some reason it got resurrected, but it's still dead. You heard it here first.
Hey guys,
It's somehow.
we did not hear it from who she just said we heard it from.
Oh yeah.
Let's delete that.
Shit, yeah.
Just bleep that out.
I mean, I probably should not have said
I
that.
just fucked over my boyfriend's NDA.
She's not gonna watch this.
It's
Everybody
fine.
keep your mouth shut.
Everybody keep your mouth shut. Just
By the
don't.
time this airs,
It's only on the internet. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
it'll,
fine. Nobody knows nothing.
yeah, it'll be fine.
That's crazy.
It's just not gonna happen. We could just leave it at that.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, because like
I mean, if it does, then maybe talks were renegotiated and
I don't know.
it's back up. But like, I feel like Tarantino is an R-rated dude, though. Like,
no,
that's what he does.
So the way that I was putting it is that like yes, you want kind of a different take on these characters, but how about we just do new shit? I don't know, like. Devil advocate is very hard for me when it comes to especially like nerd blockbuster movies because there is nothing that's making the 12-year-old Ruth Ann happier right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I get to go out and see these movies, TV shows, and they're huge and they're blockbuster and they're cool now. And the fact that I talk about them is like normal. It's this weird thing for me and I love it. But there's this other part of me is like, well, it kind of sold out. Like it kind of is.
I get it.
We're kind of hitting that bubble of like we've gone too far. Like I feel like after Infinity War and Endgame, like Marvel's gonna keep trying to top themselves, and if anything, I almost want them to go back to the simple stuff. Like go back to, or I don't know, create new characters.
Create new stuff.
Right?
That's what I am dying for, I'll be honest. I am dying for new stuff. I'm tired of seeing sequels. I'm tired of seeing remakes that don't need to be remade, that nobody asked to be remade.
Yes.
Like, I'm sick of it. And
Betweenquels.
yes, and this, movie year of 1999 where all this original stuff came out and it was all amazing, it can happen again, but I feel like we're not letting it. I feel like studios are just like, nope, that's not what people want, when in reality they don't know what people want. They're just looking at trends of everything that's been put out. People don't even know what they want. However, when a dude named Christopher Nolan came along and did Inception, everyone was like, holy crap, and that was completely original.
Yep.
And things like that do come along if people are given the chance, if they're given the opportunity. And it's just that studios aren't doing that, which I feel like is where Netflix is coming in.
Yep.
And Hulu and Amazon Prime and everything, because that's the only place you can go to be given an opportunity to do something. And Netflix is like, yeah, hell yeah, we'll put that up.
Yeah, I know we raved about it last week, but like,
right?
Murder Mystery is the most perfect. It's a new flavor of genre that I didn't even know I needed. I needed the rom-com adventure mystery. Like, I needed it. Give it to me.
And the Always Be My Maybe was a perfect example of, like, I mean, we're not usually into rom-coms, to be honest. I enjoy them every now and then. But, like, that movie was just, it was the first kind of I don't even know how to describe it. There's, like, this funny action movie that you can get, like, where it's a perfect melding of, like, what you want as a woman and what your dude wants. And sometimes it just hits all the right notes.
Yep.
Where it's like comedy and romance and like sometimes, and of course Murder Mystery had the action, and it was like just everything blended together, and I'm like, why aren't they giving us that?
It's not, I mean, obviously it's hard. It takes a lot of talent to put these together
Obviously.
and to, all that kind of
but
stuff.
I do feel there's talented people out there that just aren't being given the opportunity, to be honest. Like, when you're out here, by the way, and you meet new people, like, and I'm at events all the time, and so I'm constantly meeting people, I feel like there is this huge swath of LA of people trying to make it in the industry who are actually really freaking talented. They just can't get an opportunity. And it's like heartbreaking because, like, I support them. I will go see their stuff because it's really great. I mean, how many filmmakers have we met? Oh my gosh, like half of our friends, and
there's amazing stuff.
It's amazing stuff that I would go see on the screen, and it's like, look at Marcus trying to make like female-led action films. Okay, nobody wanted to see it
for 15 years now.
For 15 years, nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see it.
And here we are.
All of a sudden, it becomes like a thing, and it's like he was ahead of his time, but
now
no one bothered to listen to him back then.
And now he's old hat. And it's like,
now he's old hat. Now it's
like,
just like,
come on,
okay,
man.
Yeah, and it's just like that. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just like when you look at something, you shouldn't be looking at it and being like, nobody wants to see that. You should be looking at it as, would people enjoy seeing this? Like maybe they would. Like not would I. Not what the trends are. Not where like
that's the thing is that
superheroes.
they're looking at everything as the mathematical equation of to make the money. So the most horrifying thing that I learned is that Spider-Man 3, which is the Tobey Maguire ones, which is by far known as the worst Spider-Man of those. Yeah, probably the worst Spider-Man ever. It took me a second. I was like, can I actually put my foot down? Yeah, that's probably the worst Spider-Man ever. But it made more than number 1 and number 2 combined. That depresses me.
You know, it's funny. I didn't mind Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker until I actually found out who he was as a person, and then I was like, ew.
See, I liked 1 and 2. I liked 1 and 2 before I was paying attention to like.
But like Andrew Garfield, he's very forgettable. So forgettable.
Man, I don't know. And also just Tom Holland is a delight.
He is.
He is a delight.
I know, and all of us were like, who's this kid? And all of a sudden, like, we're
we
introduced to him and we're like, we love you!
And I love that him and Robert Downey Jr. are actually like their characters in real life, and they're so cute together. I cannot.
Yeah.
And even like him and Benedict Cumberbatch, they literally assigned Benedict Cumberbatch to be his like buddy to make sure that he wasn't spilling anything. So there's all these interviews of like Benedict and him will be talking every once in a while. Benedict will just reach over, just like grab his mouth like, no.
Which somebody should probably do to me.
Or just start answering questions for Tom Holland. It's adorable. Tom Holland, you're a treasure. I mean, you know it. You have like 3 million followers on everything. So I think you're aware of the fact people like you.
Yeah. Well, I think that like to sum this all up, since we're now on our last few minutes. I think that honestly, I don't agree with what Hollywood is doing. I don't think it'll end up being a bad movie by any means. I'm just a little disappointed. I think is where I'm coming from. Like, I'm disappointed that they didn't go beyond J.J. Abrams, for this.
Well, and the same thing we kind of discussed a few weeks ago when it came to having Bat-Pat.
Right, exactly.
As well as when they were in talks with Henry Cavill to be Wolverine, I'm like, I just want new faces.
I just want something new.
Like, I keep seeing you guys. If I see one more...
Also, isn't Tom Holland new? Like, it just like proven of like, did anybody hear of Tom Holland before they brought him aboard? No. As Spider-Man.
And now he's like, one of the biggest stars ever.
And I feel like that's a perfect example of what we mean. And it's not just like, oh, well, no one's gonna like be able to like, no one's gonna want to watch it if it's somebody you haven't seen before. It's like not true.
Not true.
It's just not true. And there it is.
But guys, if just look at the year 1999. It's so crazy to me. I had I kind of had a feeling because like everything kind of fell into late 80s, early aughts for me. But my God, 99, that's crazy.
Yep, 20 years ago.
Ugh. Like, I'm so happy to talk about 99, and then when you say it's 20 years ago, I'm like, oh.
I was still married. I've been married for 20 years. How crazy is that? If I had kids, they'd be in high school.
No.
All right, on that note.
All right, we love you all, but All right, cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys. We will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
We'll see you then.
See you then.